Yeah.
Yeah, I saw
I
that.
started crying because I got up and I read that. Because I just woke
Yeah,
up.
you were actually on the ice rink when that happened and you slipped.
Yeah.
Because you're like, guys, look at this! You slipped and died.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
Because somebody ran over your neck.
Oh, okay.
Wait, why am I an orangutan?
Because it's funny. You're an orangutan.
Alright,
You're not laughing. You're not...
Stop!
Okay, sorry, go on. Look, you may be the orangutan.
I'm trying to remember who this person is.
It's Aaron
This person's like... No, not Aaron Paul. No, I'm talking about like this person on Twitter who's telling me that we go way back. And I'm like, who are you? And then we have like 90 mutuals, so I can believe them when they say that we go way back.
Can you send me their Twitter? I might know them. I have a good memory.
I'm Dazzy. I don't know them.
Uh-oh.
I think? But we have 90 mutuals, so I'm pretty sure we should know each other.
Uh-oh.
What?
I think I know this person.
Who is it?
I might be confusing them with like a different person that's like bad, but they like I'm looking through their Twitter and they don't look like that person. So no, I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, who did you think it was?
But it was this like really weirdly clingy guy back in the day who had like a Ratchet and Clank sonar.
Oh, well, no, why would it be that guy?
I don't know, but I was looking through his Twitter and I realized I was wrong. Oh, hey Dre.
Yo, cool cats.
I'm streaming right now. Do you want to
Hey, cool
read my
cat.
chat for me while I animate?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, I got nothing else to do until I get my
I got some
friend
money.
to send their lines in.
Egoraptor. I know, Mr. Psychoman. Thank you so much for the $50. You've been like my biggest supporter since the beginning of time, and I appreciate you and I love you and I can't wait to see you at PAX, dude. You're amazing. You're amazing.
Oh, your donation animation's really good.
Oh, dude, have you done new, like, things for the bottom of the stream?
Yeah.
Cute.
I turned to stone.
You have a new subscriber badge!
I know.
Oh my god.
Isn't it amazing?
Hell yeah.
There should be a new emote there, shouldn't there? Nope, it still hasn't processed through. Sorry, hasn't processed. It's supposed to be like my sonar going ooh woo.
Nice.
Y'all ever shove an entire stick of bamboo in your ass and it gets stuck? Asking for a friend.
Yeah.
Okay, you weren't supposed to
Yeah.
No. Can't say I have, sorry.
No, yeah. You said yeah as well because I remember you were on the other end.
Danny, what the fuck goes through your head?
Yeah.
No, remember it was for podcasting.
Oh, yeah,
we
I
recorded an
remember.
entire episode where one end of a bamboo was in my ass and the other end was in yours. And we didn't tell anybody or brought it up. It was just we were recording and that's what was happening.
Did Aiden know?
No, Aiden did not know.
No, he didn't even know. He just thought it was sitting funny.
Yeah. It was really funny to like you know, do this inside joke. In front of Aiden.
If you guys remember me laughing randomly, like out of nowhere, it's because Hyojin actually farted and it went through the bamboo into my ass. It felt really sharp.
I'm gonna have a fucking mental breakdown. And we're only like 4 minutes in. Hey Slazo.
Then you've seen the movie Annihilation. It's a great movie and it would make a cool SCP. I want to see it.
It's on. You have Netflix.
I heard it was pretty vanilla though. Is it on Netflix
Yeah,
now?
it's on Netflix.
Thought it was still in
No,
cinemas.
it's on Netflix. It's a Netflix movie.
Ooh.
Really?
Yeah.
Annihilation. Okay. Oh, there we go. And then Netflix. Yeah, sure. Let me see if I still remember my Netflix account. Maybe I could watch it tonight. I heard from a lot of people that it was pretty vanilla, and these are people that I trust in terms of like weirdness. Because I don't know. I suppose my standard is pretty high at this point, but Annihilation. I don't know. Maybe it's good. I tend to find. Oh, yeah. Okay, here it is. That was quick. Yeah, I tend to find though that if the acting and story and dialogue is bad, then I don't care about the scary stuff because that's just as important to me.
Yeah.
It's like with Ready Player One. Like people are like, "Oh, this is so cool! It's such a cool concept." So it doesn't matter that everything else is bad. It's like, well, no, it does, because if they're bad characters, then why should I care when they're losing in a fight?
Yeah.
You know?
Also,
Where's
when
the
there's
tension?
no
The tension is nothing.
when there's no tension in like that universe where it's like, oh, you die, you just respawn. You don't really die in the game. I don't know.
Yeah. And the amount of and when it did get serious, it was really stupid. So it was impossible to actually make that movie serious, because it's like it goes from haha, I'm gonna gamer shoot you and then you're gonna lose your Bitcoin, and he's like, oh no, and it's like ha ha ha, and then next minute it's like, I'm gonna go to your house in real life and actually blow up your house and kill your
It's like,
family.
chill,
It's
it's
like,
just a
okay,
game,
this is
fam.
dumb. It's just a game. This is really funny. Why are you guys doing this? I'm making a video on it, so you guys will see. It'll be well funny.
I hate Ready Player One. Apparently, according to YMS,
Ready
the
Game
A
One.
Quiet Place, which is the horror movie I was looking forward to because the trailers look cool, is like more infuriating to watch than Ready Player One.
Oh really? I mean I've seen a trailer for it, but it was a trailer for keeping your phone off in the cinemas, which was really weird. So I didn't even know it was a movie. I just thought it was like a weird ad campaign.
I haven't watched Ready
Heard
Player
it
One
was shit,
yet,
second time
and
watching.
now I do want
Yeah.
to. I reckon like the best thing, like, don't waste your money on it. Just wait until it fucking comes out like online.
Yeah, or wait until I make my video on it, because it'll be exactly
Yeah.
the same.
Give
Except
Danny
it'll
money.
be-
Don't give that movie money.
Give me money. Don't give Ready Player One money. Don't give Steven Spielberg money. He's a delusional old man now. He doesn't make good movies anymore.
We should give him a chance. Did the main
character get gamer shot at? He does. He does, actually. I'm gonna spoil it because who cares? There's a bit near the end where the villain blows up a planet and everybody on it dies, but he's the only one that had an extra life. And then he's like, hell yeah, gamer shot. And I don't care that I spoil it because it's a really bad movie and you shouldn't give your money to it. So I'm sorry if you were looking forward to it.
Oh yeah, by the way, I already sent my next month's Patreon stuff in an email. No need to worry about that. Thank you for sending it early. I love a person that sends their fucking Patreon shit early, so I don't need to worry about it for the next fucking month.
I love a man who sends a Patreon.
I love a man that looks my ass.
Well,
Okay. I don't know, I thought Ready Player One was a decent movie, and to be fair, some people have 10 years worth of stuff in their body that they lose if you die. That's not tension that they can well explain in the movie. Maybe as a gamer, but if you're making a movie, it is important to be able to translate that to people who aren't gamers who are seeing the movie. Because if this movie was directed only at gamers, they did a really, really poor, unrelatable job with it. Everybody's so appropriate and clean in this gamer world.
Yeah,
Have
this
you
is
ever
the thing,
been on
right?
VR chat?
It's like fucking fake gamers. It's like, you know,
Yeah,
hey
everyone's
guys,
pretty-
I play 2 hours a week of like Battlefield 4.
Yeah, and this movie is supposedly people who spend their entire lives in the game.
No, like you would hear
Like, the whole
slurs
whole
everywhere.
premise.
How many N-words should we have heard within the first 5 minutes? I'm thinking double
All of
digits.
them. All of them.
When they were racing.
I enjoyed Ready Player One, to be honest, but I think it may have been better if it just indulged in how dumb and weird a
Yeah, if
virtual
they
world
don't take
full
it
of pop culture would be.
seriously.
Yeah, but unfortunately they took it seriously. There was a line that encapsulates the entire movie perfectly. There's a line where the main character, Wade Watts, looks at the CEO straight in the eye and says, "A fanboy knows a hater when he sees one." And if that doesn't tell you everything you need to know about the movie, then I don't know what to tell you.
This is the thing, right? Like, I'm not upset that it like didn't get gamer culture right, because I don't.
Yeah,
I don't
no,
do
me
that. Like,
neither.
I'm not like, oh man, where me, you know, Uganda knuckles jokes. But
No, I mean,
I'm mad because it takes gamer culture, which is such a fucking toxic thing half the time, and it's like, haha, look at these funny gamer boys having a good time. They're not
look at these pretty attractive. Look at these attractive 30-year-old actors.
Polite people in game interacting and working with. No.
One of the people if you're gonna make a fucking gamer video, have them fucking insult each other's mothers.
One of them
the thing is, it's not even a kids movie. There's swearing and death in it. Like, you can do that. You can be rude. You can be vulgar.
I wish because in a realistic sense, if in a game like that, there would always be one fucking arsehole, and especially if it's in a gamer community, to just get a fucking gun and shoot in every single person there. They will just kill each other. It's a game.
There is one particular actor who is so bad, and it's probably because he's 11. But, you know, it's still no excuse anymore because there are good child actors now. So, you know, you can't do that anymore.
You know that little child that's like 8, which is a fantastic actor.
Yeah, but there's this one kid who's like, in the game world, he plays an adult, but in real life, he's a kid. And then they're like, "Wow, you're a kid," when they finally meet in real life, and he's like, he goes, "Ugh," and he does the exaggerated eye roll, and he goes, "What should I say? Should I put, 'Hey, I'm 11 years old, shoot me,' over my head?" Like, kid, I'm gonna fucking shoot you in real life. Like, all right, calm down.
Was the kid French?
No, he was Japanese, I think. There were 2 Japanese kids as part of the group in the main characters, and they were like racist stereotypes. I mean, they weren't racist stereotypes. I'm just you know, it's just still kind of funny that like you have black guy who's like a cyborg orc. You have a main character who's like some anime 80s kid, and then you have like the 2 Japanese kids, and one's a samurai and one's a ninja. It's like, okay. It's like, all right, I guess they're not as creative as the others.
Oh yeah. What was the worst joke? What was?
Oh my god, there are so many. Well, joke. Oh, it's hard because sometimes I can't tell when they're joking because they have such wacky gamer humor.
It's so subtle.
See, because the worst part of it is when it tries to take itself seriously, because that's when I laugh. Whenever they make a joke, it's not funny. Actually, no, there are some good jokes. T.J. Miller plays like a level 500 bounty hunter, and he's really fucking funny. But he only has like 3 lines in the whole movie, so who cares? I'm trying to remember a joke that they try to tell. There's a bit where they're dancing at a club, where the main character and this streamer girl is dancing at a club, and she's like rubbing all up and down on his balls, and then it cuts to the real VR world, and then he has like a full body suit for VR, and his balls are lit up, and I think that's supposed to be funny because I was laughing.
But not because it was funny, but because it was ridiculous.
Because it was really awkward. It was just like the kid from Whiplash just sitting in a gaming chair, just lighting up his balls.
It was the kid from Whiplash?
I think so, isn't it?
No.
Let me check.
Please don't tell me. He's like one of my favorite.
Ready Player One cast.
No, it's not the kid from Whiplash.
Ty Sheridan movies. Let me just double check.
I think it is.
Okay, let me just look. Whiplash cast.
No, it's not. It's not.
Oh, it isn't. No, never mind.
God.
Oh, phew.
Fuck.
No, this isn't you guy. I've been calling him the guy from Whiplash the whole time I was watching the movie in the cinema.
He looks like different. Also, the kid from Whiplash looks like my mate in like IRL. It's really weird.
I just remember I could only remember his face in Whiplash when he's angry, and he's not a good actor in Ready Player One, so I just separated those 2 entities altogether.
How old is he? He's 31. He looks so young.
One of those lines that get gamer shotted. No, they're not that up to date. There are lines like noob, and hater and fanboy, but there aren't gamer shot or gamed. they reference modern companies like Twitch, but they don't like use modern gamer lingo, which makes sense because it's supposed to be set in 2045, but it makes even less sense because they use slightly outdated gamer lingo, like noob.
Did they seriously say noob in this movie?
Yeah, TJ Miller says noob. He calls somebody a noob.
So
there is actually a really funny scene where TJ Miller is trying to summon a giant force field around a base, and he's reading out a spell off a little piece of paper, and it just looks really funny.
Okay, so like this movie obviously doesn't cater to like gamers, like, cause like it's stupid and everyone's gonna think it's stupid.
It very poorly caters to gamers.
Yeah, but like the majority of them is not gonna enjoy the movie. Obviously, it doesn't really cater to kids because it's too.
Yeah, there's swearing and there's violence.
Yeah.
I think it caters to a certain age of kids where it's like they're old enough to think swearing is cool, but they're not old enough to realize that there's more to a movie than just epic gamer action.
So like 11.
So yeah, like 11 to 14.
Nah. Once you hit 14, you're ready for the edgy humor.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I
You're ready to say,
you go Deadpool.
I
see
hit
Deadpool.
the edgy.
No, not even
Deadpool
Deadpool. At 14, you're like, haha, funny racism.
No, I hit the edgy phase in my life
were
when I
born.
was 17. Okay. When I was
You came out of the vagina. Haha, goof!
She's partnered, you can't do that now.
No, it's okay.
I
Daddy's
said
Asian.
cook.
I was like dancing around it, trying really hard not to say a slur.
I think a slur is okay as long as me, like when it comes to Asian slurs, it's like me and Danny. I don't care because we're both Asian.
That's
Like he's a
fair,
mix of
that's
Asian
fair.
and brown, so and everyone knows me.
Wait, does that
Didn't
mean you
TJ
get like?
accused of beating his
Can you use like
ex-girlfriend?
all the slurs?
No, I obviously.
All of the Asian
all the
slurs?
Asian-
Not all of
not all
them.
of them.
Like I can't say the Z word because I'm not Japanese.
I can say it
The
because
Z
no, I can
word?
say it because
The zipper. Yeah.
I can say it because they ran over like the tanks rolled over Korean soldiers' heads, and I'm gonna clarify. I am.
No, that's still hateful though. You can't say that,
I'm
Hyojin.
not saying it to anyone
Even
else
if
now.
it's
I'll
historic
probably
facts.
say it to myself.
Oh yeah,
So
fair
as
enough.
in, you know.
Didn't TJ get accused of beating his ex-girlfriend? Guess nothing happened out of that. Well, I mean, if he was accused, him being accused and that actually happening are different things. I kind of want to know more about that. Because there are so many funny jokes you can just so many roles that he's done that you could just quote to make this situation seem funnier. Like, yesterday I was watching an MEP of, Jim Hawkins from Treasure Planet. Yeah, he was like raping Belle from Beauty and the Beast, I think.
Yeah.
It was actually a rape. It was actually a rape MEP. I'm not even
Yeah,
exaggerating.
no, I think I've seen multiple of those. So if you guys don't know what MEP
And then
stands for, MEP stands
He's thrusting.
MEP stands for Multi-Editor Project. So this is like people that are like, you can explain it.
They're taking like bits from movies and editing them together so that it looks like they're in the same movie. So people love crossing and shipping characters with each other and having them like be romantic and flirty with each other or violent with each other. In this case, it was Jim Hawkins from Treasure Planet having sex with Belle from Beauty and the Beast, and I was just sitting there watching it, and then suddenly I'm just like, "I want a moment to be real," and it was just so fucking.
Oh,
There are
Dylan,
just-
oh yeah. Sorry.
Oh, you got a donation?
No. Cool song just came on.
Oh, nice. I keep having a recurring dream about confinement episode that doesn't exist. It's incredibly consistent. That scares me. Fuck, well, maybe you got it in your head. You have the foresight.
Oh shit.
I swear, it's agonizing to watch Devilman. Devilman. Devilman.
Oh, no. I think they're talking about the MAPs that are agonizing to watch.
Oh, yeah.
I made a fake parking pass and got caught by my school's administration. I lied and now I got a new and real one. So there's your lesson, kids. Do illegal things. That's the lesson at the end of the day. Okay.
And then right underneath that is foreskin.
Lol, he said foreskin.
Shut up. And then sad Fennec.
I'm 2 minutes.
Do you have
into
Discord?
Squizzy.
She do.
Yeah.
I'll send the Discord, right? Am I allowed it?
Yeah, thank you.
Invite people. Copy link.
If there are any other animators in the chat, and answer me if you agree. Do you have fun doing in-betweens or keyframes? Because I fucking love doing in-betweens, but I hate doing my fucking keyframes. Keyframes are so annoying for me. Because keyframes are the ones that are planning out the movement. In-betweens is the easy part, it's just following between keyframes.
Oh, so the keyframes are the main like goal of the movement, and okay,
and then
I see.
in-betweens is just like following through.
I mean, there was a point in time in which I only did keyframes.
So you do the whole process of in-betweens and keyframes, or do you like go like straight on?
I do in-betweens now, but unfortunately I do them in order. I don't do keyframes and then in-betweens because of how unorthodox I do it is that each frame is a number out of 100, or I mean out of 999. Sorry, so if I'm doing a shot of Connor standing up and then walking away, it's not going to be like I draw him sitting down, then I draw him standing up, then I draw him like walking motion. I have to draw it in order, so every single bit in between. Because I have no idea of telling how many frames I'd need in between those keyframes, so I just have to take the risk and go all in between. But that won't be necessary for the next episode, because now that I have my tablet at the beginning of creating an episode, I can finally fucking do a storyboard. So that's very useful.
If this is the racist version of... Okay, thank God. Whew.
I don't know. I'm an Alabama black man and I want to be free.
Danny, you gave me a fucking heart attack.
Oops.
Alright guys, if you have any questions to ask, please go ahead. I love philosophical streams. I did one like the other day and I couldn't go to sleep.
Oh yeah.
Do we actually have bones?
No.
No, because we don't rattle, idiot. What time is it now? That is a philosophical question. What time is it
I
now?
don't know.
How? What is time? Is it a construct to determine our perception of things, or is time real?
Time's fake. Everyone knows it.
I mean, it's fake, but because we all. I mean, yeah, but since we need it to perceive reality, it becomes real in that sense.
Nah, it's like a lens, right? A lens isn't the same as the camera, but it helps the camera see things well.
Does that make it not real, though?
Yes.
Well then...
Really now? What's your standard for real?
My standard for real is anything that would exist without being perceived.
Ah, I see. Well, if we're gonna get a little post-modernist, that could be literally everything.
Yeah, absolutely. But it can't be abstract concepts.
So what is stopping you from splitting abstract concepts from objects that exist even when we're not looking at it?
What do you mean? Like...
How do you know...
What's the difference between like a concept and like a tree that nobody is watching?
Yes. If a tree falls in a forest, is it not a concept?
Because the tree could be perceived, but also other trees are being perceived. Like, it's not that one single tree exists or doesn't exist, it's that trees exist or don't exist. So, like, I would say that a lot of abstract concepts can't be seen in their entirety, whereas at least one tree is being perceived at all times.
I see. Well, what if we extinguish the population so that there's one guy who lives in a place without trees? Are trees
I suppose at that point we don't know if trees are still real. But
what if
we
that
know
guy...
that trees were real, and there's a possibility that they will be real again.
But what if the guy can estimate that, you know, just because everybody disappeared all of a sudden, does doesn't mean there's no logical reason for him to assume that the tree's left with the humans.
I suppose that rests on your idea of like proof and whether or not you can ever prove anything.
Yeah. Schrodinger's cat.
No,
Nah, nigga, Schrodinger's tree.
you just said the word.
Shut up!
No, I didn't.
Hyojin.
I wasn't thinking.
No, I don't care. Stop, Dre, stop focusing on the word. If
Sorry.
Is this a nature documentary? No, it's not a nature documentary. It's a philosophy documentary. Quite the opposite. What
I guess,
color
like-
are mirrors? Got him. Shut up.
I guess like the thing with like abstract things is like I think it's quite weird. So for example, depression is real because it has like a physiological thing, right?
Yeah, there's a chemical
Like
aspect to it.
you can tell when it happens by scanning people. But like is I don't know, like loyalty real?
Yeah, is justice real? Justice
Not
is
really.
Loyalty real
Yeah.
because,
Kinda like
like,
fake.
are you being loyal to the person because you want something from them? Is that actually loyalty, or is that you're just using?
Yeah, I know loyalty ain't real because you're snakes.
Hey Dre, I'm just using you to talk to Lord Buck.
Wow, what the
I'm just using you to talk to Dre.
that's so uncool, guys.
I make animations too, says Rare Kirby. Hell yeah, send some of your animations.
Apparently they got banned on the Discord. If you got banned, then there was probably a reason. Because I don't ban people for no reason.
I kicked a bunch of people, but I didn't ban anyone. I don't ban unless it's pretty bad.
I don't ban at all because I keep forgetting to.
If you tell me your Discord, I can check why you were banned. If there's no reason, I might unban.
So how much of control do we actually have in reality?
Oh, none.
Yeah,
I
there we
think
go.
free will's such a like. Free will's such a bad like thing.
God
It's
gave
such a
me
lie.
free will.
I think there's something. It's something that like really our judicial system should start looking at as well, and how much of our behavior is absolutely just determined. Like,
But I feel like if you apply that way of thinking to a judicial system, then ultimately it'll be. I mean, ultimately it is actually just if you're going to be a future danger to society, we should lock you up.
that's what it is, right? But
Yeah,
rather
that's what it
than-
ultimately
rather
should
than
be.
letting someone kill someone first, we just lock
Yeah.
them up straight away.
Oh, Twitter's having a breakdown.
I think like we might have some free will, right? But we have free will within a very confined, like already set up idea of the future. So like,
Yeah, it's like
chances
we have
are-
the amount of free will we have is just we get to choose our own phone cases.
yeah, like the world is already set, and we can have a little bit of free will within it. We can spruce it up a little bit however we like, but the outcome's still the same.
We all die?
Well, no, the
I
outcome
mean-
is we make all of these decisions that we think are ours, but they have to do with our history chemically and
Yeah.
environmentally and naturally. So let's say, for instance, your mom ate a certain. Okay, no, bad example. That's a myth. Let's say that you were born with a certain amount of estrogen and testosterone. That's out of your control to make decisions that are, let's say, more masculine or more feminine. You're more naturally drawn to certain things. Or if your decisions are limited by your environment, let's say you live in a coal mining warehouse and you didn't get to go to an art university or whatever, that's also out of your control. And you end up getting drawn to certain this or that because of chemicals in your brain. That's out of your control.
I think even more than that, like, because behavior is always going to be determined a little on that end. But I think our lives are pretty much set up from the moment we're born. I think when people say like, "Oh man, you know, butterfly effect, chaos theory, and all of this, like one small thing can change the world," I think that's kind of bullshit. I think chances are what you do changes the path, but I think the outcome's the same. Not like the outcome is death. I think the overall like arching path of your life is set. All you can do is like move around in between.
Set an example for that theory of what you just said of how butterfly effects don't work. What's an example of a butterfly effect that doesn't work?
I mean, it's a tough one,
You
right?
step
But,
on a
like,
butterfly
people
and the entire
often
human race has just changed. Remember that one movie?
Yeah, like that movie. That's where the term came from.
the whole like
Shitty movie.
Really bad movie.
the whole thing is like on like taking risks, right? Like people are like, oh, you know, if you don't take risks, you'll never get anywhere. But you take a risk. Let's say you start investing, right? And either you get lots of money from it, and eventually you spend the money, or you get lots of money from it, but you'd have gotten money later in your life anyway. Or you lose all your money and you get the money back, or you lose all your money but you were destined to lose that money anyway. You haven't, no matter what the outcome of your investment is, chances are you're always going to follow the same path because of how you are.
Oh,
Like, you're always,
I see.
Like you are predestined because of your upbringing, because of your circumstances, because of the way your brain is hardwired. Like everybody has a different brain.
Yeah, like chances are, if you're the kind of person who is desperate to get the big one, quote unquote,
Then they'll lose it all again.
Yeah, because you view it in such a one-time win way.
Yeah, and if you're someone who's smart and is going to make a good investment, a sensible one, you'll get that money at another time.
Yeah,
it'll just be a little later on.
Yeah,
Patient.
yeah.
I'm willing to wait for
and
it.
I think I'd say 95% of your life is pretty from 18 onwards is pretty much set.
But don't be down
Like,
by that,
there's
because
little changes you can make.
You can still think that you're doing this all on your spies. Who cares?
If you commit suicide, you're probably gonna commit suicide anyway.
Just
oh my
have
God.
a good time, man. I mean, yeah, Bung's right, but I mean, just have a good time while you're here. Like, there's no point worrying and stressing
I'm not
about
worrying
stuff.
about
Just
like if my
have-
like
Yeah, I really hate those stories of people like, I saved a guy from committing suicide. It's like, no, he's
no,
gonna commit
you
suicide
you
later.
delayed him by 2 weeks.
oh
As really grim and horrible as that sounds, that's more realistic than.
It's like a guy who was
know.
gonna get like a medal for like calling a guy off the train
It is.
tracks, and then his medal got
It is.
revoked the day
Wow,
before
I'm
he was
such a
gonna get
good
it
guy.
because the guy
It is
went back.
fucking true, though. If a person is set on killing themselves and they're going to do it, you can't stop them.
They're not gonna change their mind the second somebody shows that some stranger shows that they care. It's like they're not depressed because they think the world is living in a certain way. They're depressed because their mind is set to thinking
Yeah,
that.
and you can't.
And their
stop
circumstances have got to be bad enough, and it's not like their circumstances are gonna like heavily improve
also,
in a
people
2
that
week
like
period.
attempt suicide and they fail because they're failures at life and they should have died anyway.
Oh my god!
Jesus!
Yeah, yeah.
Yo,
Sorry, I'm
Jen!
self-projecting.
Just to clarify, we're not saying that people who are depressed should kill themselves. We're saying that people who are going to kill themselves anyway, stopping them from killing themselves once is not going to save them for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
And I hate the mentality of this romanticized mentality of, I stopped a guy from committing suicide. I am a hero, and they are now happy. Like, no,
No,
the brain is way more complicated and way more beautiful than that. You're gonna do it again, and you're probably not gonna be there because you're jerking yourself off because you quote unquote saved him.
It's just such a bad thing, right? Like, I mean, if you are like statistically, if you are like a trans black woman, right, you are almost predestined to just have a shit time in
Yep.
life.
Most trans people
That's just how it
die by
is.
the age of their life expectancy is like average 30.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a huge chunk of teen suicides in America are LGBT.
We're not being SJW, this is just true.
Yeah, I mean,
I just-
whether you're SJW or whether you are against the LGBT,
If this
that's
is just statistics, you
thing.
can't just look at a statistic and say no. No.
I disagree because I didn't
Oh,
see
that's
it.
some money.
The villain of the dream episode actually had a cool
Okay,
concept.
so-
What dream episode?
Sorry
What?
to interrupt, but someone donated just to say Jesus fucking Christ, you guys.
Sorry.
Sorry. Alright, go on.
Sorry.
I'm eating some bomb ass grapes.
Dude, that's great.
Nice. Mine was when I was watching a NASA documentary on my portable DVD player in the car, and the narrator mentioned how eventually the sun will engulf the Earth, and then every star will die out in about 1 trillion years or some shit, and a lightless, cold void will be left. And I remember feeling my heart fucking sink.
No, I think
Well, that's not really depressing
beautiful.
to me, because we would be long gone before that happens. Not even just me or my family, just my species altogether
I
will be
think
long
that's
gone.
beautiful, because you know what's gonna happen again? There's still gonna be energy left, and it's gonna make another Big Bang.
Yeah, it'll probably repeat itself again. I mean, everything that just happened, that's happening now, probably just gonna happen
I
again.
mean, it's not impossible,
Um,
because the universe is so infinite.
It's not impossible. The big crunch.
And, you know, we might be dead in those times,
Yeah,
but we won't remember it. We'll only remember the times we're alive.
Yeah.
So this could be like our
Yeah.
10 billionth cycle. We don't know. We don't know.
If you want to save a suicidal person, you have to invest a lot more time and thought to really help the person. Yeah, way more than just I pulled them off a ledge. I'm gonna have to pat myself on the back and be a local hero. Like,
You gotta truly like change things for them. You gotta pull them back from what. They, not only are they against themselves, but the universe is also against them. Then
Therapy. This is what like every therapist, almost everyone. I mean, at least the ones I went to, suggested like if like most people that are depressed it's usually due to like environmental, like the place like that's surrounding them or the people they're surrounded with. So to fix that, they usually I don't know, told to move to a different
Leatrice says. No, because if you save someone from suicide, it's a big chance that you will thereby bring their depression to their family's attention. They might get real help from there on by a therapist that can actually change their mind. That happens quite often, but obviously not always. Yeah, but that you're assuming a very specific character. You're assuming a character in which the family support will actually help. A lot of people who are depressed are upset because either their family doesn't care or their family are the source of the
or the
problem.
family doesn't really take depression seriously.
you're also seeing
and
this
more
for the
than-
first
and-
time. Like,
Yeah,
so many
well, that
people
too.
have tried 3 or 4 times and not
Oh,
got
yeah,
it
by
right
the way,
yet.
guys,
According
say got it right.
to my therapist, there are only 40% of families that are actually fitting perfectly in the good parenting
also, by the way,
category, at least in Australia.
when some people attempt suicide, their family won't reply with, "Oh, I'm so sorry. We should treat you better. We should like get you some help." Not all families respond with that. Some families respond with like, "Why the fuck would you do this? You're retarded," and they just look at you differently.
Yeah, you're selfish.
And
How dare you commit suicide?
They
How
call you
selfish are you?
selfish.
Like,
They're
okay.
embarrassed of you
Cool.
because you did such a thing like that.
Yeah, we're not like not obviously not all families like that. I'm just saying that what Leatrice said, I think that fits for a very small amount of people. I think suicide rates and depression wouldn't be so high if that happens for all people, and it happens for a lot less people than I think we would hope.
Even, and this is really sad to say, but even the people who like do improve and like, you know, they spend a year getting better and they improve as a person, a lot of them end up back in the same situation 2 years down the line. Like,
Of all people to fall back in that situation, it'll have to be them
My
because their
mentality
brain
is like,
seems to be predispositioned.
if I'm happy
for
in
that.
the now, but if it comes back like 2 years later, I don't care. As long as it fucks off for now, right? But it'll come back eventually, but you know, as long as it fucks off now, I'm good, right? You know?
My mentality is I'm really bad at planning for the future, so I might just commit suicide.
Oh.
Well, that was really dark.
That
Holy
was
shit.
really dark, Danny. Oh my god.
I haven't been taking my meds for the past few days.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
dark stream, dark
Yeah, we'll
stream.
call this a dark.
I've been trying to wean off my medicine. My doctor tells me that I need to wean off my medicine because it's been 2 years.
Oh, okay.
Okay, it sounded a lot darker than I meant
kept
it to
forgetting to
sound.
take
It's a little bit more like. It's a little bit more like I'm so bad at thinking of a plan for my future that is big enough and important enough that my knee-jerk reaction is, well, lol, I can just die. It's not me like genuinely considering it.
It's
I can't actually
my
do that.
plans for the future is
That's
like
way too hard.
I have, in my eyes, I have so many different paths I can take and so many different opportunities, but I'm just like I'm just like stuck on which one do I fucking take? Which one am I gonna take?
Yeah.
So like I'm excited,
Yeah,
and I
fair
know
enough.
I'm not gonna be like stuck in the same loop of I don't know what to do because I have so much like choice. I just need to decide on one. Like, and it.
But I'm gonna be the fat ghost from Casper.
I'm gonna go to
Yeah,
your
and then
funeral.
my ghost is gonna stay
I'm
on
gonna
Earth.
go on your funeral. I'm gonna be like, man, this is the fat ghost from Casper.
Yeah, my family fucking beats the shit out of me.
Hyojin's just like live streaming from his funeral
you-
IRL.
Hey guys, just periscoping the funeral.
When you die, I'm gonna
like,
put.
It's pretty grim here. Let's turn the music up, and it's just
Like-
party rock is in the house.
Oh my god!
When you
And there's like 20 people like turn around at Hyojin like, what are you doing? Because she's just like, bros, this shit's lit!
when Denny dies, I'm
The
genuinely.
thing is, I would ask you to
I'm
do it.
genuinely gonna cover his casket in like Pringles. Holy shit! Someone donated.
What do you guys think about the
Oh my god,
Oh.
instead of flowers, you're just gonna
paradox
toss
and how it
Pringles
implies
crumbs all
about
over
the
it.
Order
human
decent
mind.
Pringles from like the US. Don't
Like
get the
how
crap
much
Can you just toss bread all over my
No,
casket,
I'm gonna toss
and
Pringles.
cover it in like sticky substances, so when all the birds come down to eat the bread, they get stuck to the casket, so they fly away with my
Okay.
coffin.
Thank you, Toaster Cat, for the donation.
What an
Also,
image.
can you guys read this out for me?
What do you guys think about the Theseus paradox and how? Oh shit, it disappeared. Whoever said that, can you just put
No,
it
no,
in
no.
the
I
chat?
sent it in the chat. Don't worry.
Okay. Oh, okay. Sorry, Leatrice, 1 second. What do you guys think about the Theseus's paradox and how it applies about the human mind? Like, how much of our mind can be replaced until we are no longer ourselves? Oh yeah, that's pretty elementary shit. Well, we assign what ourselves are. If we can recreate our own exact human mind perfectly out of material that wasn't from, our own consent, then it might as well be our own mind. It's like when you get a ship, and let's say that ship has been through a few seas and a few wars, and every single part of it has been replaced by other bits of wood until it still looks exactly the same and works and functions exactly the same, then it might as well be the same ship. Like, our body gets recycled every 8 years
Yeah,
completely, except for our
your
eyeballs.
child self is just dead?
Yeah, your child self is dead, and if you've been around for 16 years, you've been completely recycled.
Mm.
I think I've been recycled twice by now. I'm 22, so...
I'm.
No,
I'm
not yet. Not yet,
I'm
almost.
on my next recycle. I'm 18.
Yeah, I have to be 20. When I hit 24, it's gonna be my second recycle. I know that happens a lot, but some people also try to commit after a severe failure. Sorry, school for an example, because they think that they got no chance in succeeding in life. Then when they get saved in the moment, they get better after time. Again, obviously, that's not always, but saving someone in the moment can still help. Yeah, it can help. I think it's way less likely to help than people think it is. What I'm saying is, if somebody gets quote-unquote saved, I don't want to use that term because most of the time I don't think they get saved in the long run. I think if somebody stops a suicide from occurring, most of the time it doesn't help. That's what I'm saying, because I think things are way more complicated. Because to stop somebody from suicide is to assume that everything else around in their life is a safety cushion that they bounce back into and have enough time to heal. But most of the time people are depressed because everything around their life isn't a safety cushion and it's just utter shit. Or they're completely ignored. In my case, I went through depression when I was around 16 to 19, and nowadays I'm a lot better, but I still get into little bits every now and then. But I went into there because neglected by my parents when I was going through some sort of severe anxiety with where I was going to end up, because I thought I was going to go to hell.
Oh my god.
Because I like the PP. Yeah, I like the PP, and my parents told me, oh, you're going to hell. And I was like, okay. And since I believed in hell at the time, I thought I was going to go to hell and that God didn't love me, and that made me depressed. And then I got over it when I realized God wasn't real, and that liking the PP doesn't matter. But at that time, it was because, even though I don't think my parents did bad, they made a really, really bad decision that made me feel unwanted and hated. So, if I were to commit suicide at 17, let's say, and my parents or somebody stopped me and took me back to my parents, and my parents tried to help me any way they can. It absolutely wouldn't have helped, because their stuck mentality is that God is real, he still hates the gays, and you're going to hell if you stay this way. Their advice to me was just keep praying and then you'll get over it. You won't be attracted to men anymore. And I thought, okay, that'll work. And every time it didn't work, which it didn't, because obviously God isn't real, and if he is real, he doesn't give a shit about whether or not you like dick. It didn't work. It just made me more depressed because I can't fight my biology. And so yeah, that's me. Sorry to get a little... I just joined. I'm sorry. It's really dark. But yeah, this is the point I'm trying to make. The only way stopping somebody from committing suicide and bringing them back to their family would stop them from being depressed in the future and maybe committing suicide is if their family is, one, great, supportive, and healthy, and everything else in their life is pretty much great, supportive, and healthy.
I think one thing
which is unlikely.
One thing I hate is like being like my parents went through a lot of like tough shit when they were growing up. So like that's great. That makes them really hardworking parents. At the same time, they expect me to be an emotionless husk that can deal with anything thrown her way. So if I complain about like, if I literally have like, I don't have depression because I'm sad. Depression is like the absence of happiness. Like I can't feel happy, but like they think depression just means you're having a bad day. So they tell me to suck it up, but I'm like, I can't just be like, hi, I'm okay now after like a year of I want to die.
Yeah.
It's because they've been raised with such like I love them. They're great. They're very tough, hard workers. But that's also like trapped me in this circle of I have to be just as tough as them, and I feel bad for like even feeling depressed because they went through so much worse shit than me because they're like ethnic parents raised in Australia, and when they were young, racist country back in the day, and they couldn't speak the language, so they had to work themselves up from the bottom to the top. So literally from the bottom to the top. So like born in this privileged country like now, and I'm depressed, and so I it's like I'm not allowed to.
Yeah, it makes you feel like a dick.
So I'm stuck in that circle.
I'm not allowed to be depressed.
It's better now, but
I know breaking out of like the circle of depression is so fucking difficult because like you need so many things to change at once. Like you need to have people who are wanting to motivate you to get to do things and to be active. You need a better environment. Like you need. Usually you also need antidepressants and therapy. Like so much has to change in your life.
Also,
so much has to be good and healthy already, which is why Leaptress, I don't think stopping somebody from committing suicide is statistically helpful.
Like you can always help by making yourself go out and do things and making yourself do productive stuff.
This is why I was never like, I'm really open about like depression, like at any time. Besides like I like never like IRL, never like online until like recently. But the longest time I didn't talk about it because I was like, if I talk about it, I'll look like a little bitch because that's how I was raised. Don't be a little fucking bitch.
Yeah, my dad was like that too.
I completely get it. So is mine.
Yeah, my dad was like, because he grew up in a poor family in like fucking central Queensland or something, and he was like, oh, we lived in a coal town and it was really hard, and my dad had 7 jobs. Like, okay, but so what are you suggesting, that we should move back to a poor town so that I could live exactly how you live, so that I could appreciate your values? Like, no, you worked hard to have a soft, decent lifestyle, and now you expect me to have the same values as you, but I can't. I literally can't. There's no reason.
Yeah, I get that.
But okay. No, I'm bisexual, but it doesn't matter to my parents. It doesn't matter to my parents that I'm only half gay.
For me because they feel ashamed for my mental health risk. They've been told by a doctor before life is shit sometimes. Yeah.
It does get better. Like I know we've been quite harsh on it, but like as you grow up, you will have the opportunity to change this stuff yourself rather than relying on other people. And if you have the will and like the self-control and stuff, you will do it.
I probably
Yeah,
got through depression by just not
well,
caring. I know
because-
it sounds counterproductive, but I just cared about what I wanted to care about, not what other people. Not caring is a good thing. I think that's not the best, but I think.
Well, as you get older, I mean, these two points you guys make kind of link with each other because as you get older, your perspective gets wider, so your problems seem
third
smaller,
eye opens,
and ultimately
you're
that
like,
can't help.
I woke.
Your third eye opens, and you're like, yeah, and you're like, oh wow, the girl that rejected me in high school, fuck that, I'm just trying to get food.
Your mind before was just I sleep through the depression, and then you turn into an adult, and then you're like, I woke.
Oh no, somebody called me the N-word on Twitter. I sleep.
I sleep. I sleep. I sleep. Real shit.
Yeah, like you're homeless in college. Real shit, you know. And then as you get older, and you're like, oh man, I need to get this promotion, otherwise I won't be able to pay next week's rent. Real shit. Like the real shit gets higher and higher every time. So ultimately, those problems become smaller. Depression is thrown around a lot. I can't tell if I've been depressed or just super bummed out. Yeah, for me it's a little like that. I mean, I'm super happy that I have so much work to do, which keeps me distracted. But I can't tell if I'm trying to avoid depression or if I don't have depression. Is the thing. Because when I'm not working, I feel like shit.
I have this It's like this is like a thing where, oh god. I hate this fucking whole aesthetic of depression online. It's like, it's not fucking sitting in bed on a rainy day with chocolate mug in your hand and crying. It's not a black and white gif of a boy hugging you while you cry. It's not fucking that. It's like disgusting. It's gross. It's you not showering for 2 days. It's you not getting out of bed for hours.
Yeah.
It's you feeling like
it's you being
it's
El
you
stinky
not wanting to
boyo.
like go outside at all because you just feel like fucked all of like, oh, there's no point in me doing anything. It's disgusting. He's disgusting.
Dranko Beck says, I don't know how to tell my mom I'm bi. I told her once and she acted a little weird, not like stone throwing, but it felt so awkward that I played it off as a joke. Yeah, when I first told my parents, they didn't believe me. They said, no you're not. Idiot. I think you're just confused. And then I ended up being in a relationship with a guy, and they said, oh man, this guy's just even more confused. Oh, idiot. And I still think they don't believe me to this day. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it certainly doesn't make me feel better. Leibtress, okay, you've convinced me. I'll just yell at them to do it if I ever see someone at the edge of a bridge. No!
That's the spirit. Wait.
No, don't! You should ultimately, if you think you're a good person, then you should try and stop somebody, but just know that it's unlikely to help them in the long run. If you want to make a real difference, be present in their life. Try to be a friend.
But be the outreach hand to pull them
since
up.
this generation's been brought up,
Yeah.
like, well, most of like this generation's been brought up with this kind of like this parenting this way, this like very cold. Well, I'm saying most, maybe just like half, a little bit.
It's every generation. Don't get me wrong. The generation our parents have the same problem with their parents. Life has been getting softer.
Yeah, it's getting softer. So I wonder if like maybe this generation as parents will be like a lot like be more friendly with, be more like casual, not as formal with the kids. I don't know.
I don't think life's gonna get much softer. So I think we'll have an easier job of it. But like, there's always gonna be good parents. Like, my parents are really lovely people, and they do understand with this stuff. They're just a little like, you know, my dad is a bit of a